GM now is going to merge its self-driving unit Cruise into its operations with scaled-back goals, including
expensive. So, David, it's Waymo and it's Tesla. By the way, Waymo has many more miles. Tesla's like no miles.
It just was a real winner, and it really checked all the boxes, and it beat out, as you pointed out, Cybertruck, Rivian, the Sierra.
Yeah, we're seeing analysts start to weigh in, perhaps reluctantly.
All that and more. So let's get to it. Tesla stock is up in the pre-market almost 0.5%. Currently sitting at $426.60. There's not much to say to that, ladies and gents, but Santa Claus is coming to town. Oh yeah! For the week, Tesla's up almost 20%. And year to date, up over 70.5%. Is it outrageous to think that Tesla could be up over 100%? By the end of December? I know it would give me a whole lot of Yuletide cheer, if you know what I mean. But before we dive into Tesla's grand closing of 2024, let's look at some of these other auto manufacturers, shall we?
GM pulling the plug on its Robotaxi operations. The company cited the high cost to develop the technology and build out a fleet of cars in multiple cities. Instead, GM now is going to merge its self-driving unit Cruise into its operations with scaled-back goals, including developing advanced safety systems and one day, they say, offering autonomous driving as a feature on future models. On a call yesterday, company CEO Mary Barra saying, quote, "We looked at the amount of money to deploy a Robotaxi business and to maintain that business and grow it. It's quite a bit of capital." She said the GM will now focus on its core business.
Cruise is dead. Let's just get that out in the open. That's a done deal. But the thought of folding Cruise into GM so that future vehicles can be semi-autonomous of some sort? Yeah, you missed me with that.
But what this really means, it's a boon both to Elon Musk and to Tesla, and it's a boon to Waymo and the folks at Alphabet.
And did we ever really think that one of the legacy automakers were going to be the lead when you're up against these
big tech
incredible big tech companies?
So that's the question, though. Do you think that the legacy players can ever get out of their legacy way?
Do they? Because if I was going to, in saying something positive about Mary Barra and GM, you've seen the stock. Stock has done incredibly. So they're doing in areas where they can still play. I think they can succeed. Would I want to go up against Tesla and Waymo in terms of I'd let them do it, and then I'd like license it.
One can dream, can't they, Joe? We're about to enter the later half of this decade. It's going to get really messy for all legacy auto manufacturers. There will be a tightening of the belt, so to speak, when it comes to Ford, GM, Stellantis, and let's not forget the legacy auto manufacturers in Europe or Japan. But the fact that GM even had a seat at the table when it came to automation, with Waymo, Tesla, Cruise offered them a path into autonomy, into the future. But just like with the EV1, history is doomed to repeat itself.
I like discipline, and Mary Barra showed discipline. She's not going to lose all this money on this Robotaxi. It's not worth it to her. Saves $2 billion. Look, I went in her Robotaxi. It's terrific, but she's going to stay focused on self-drive.
Why don't you give people the news? There it is.
They're getting out of the Robotaxi Cruise. They're staying in Cruise. I had spent some time in the Robotaxi. I was thrilled with it. I happen to love these things, but expensive. So, David, it's Waymo. And it's Tesla. By the way, Waymo has many more miles. Tesla's like no miles.
Tesla has no miles. Well, I guess we'll agree to disagree on that, Jim. As for Mary Barra not wanting to waste money in this multi-trillion-dollar opportunity, I suppose we're going to disagree on that as well. The inability to embrace the future because you're going to inflict wounds on your core business will be the inevitable downfall of what we call GM. It will be a sad day to see this American staple go the way of the dinosaur, but it will be of their own making.
Look at that.
Hey, there you are.
Kyle Vogt is back there with me, the person who had very derisive things to say this morning on Twitter about GM. No need to repeat them.
Idiots. Or as my wife would say, Kyle Vogt called them some dum-dums.
Okay.
But I would say that if you want a company that is showing, you know what, we're not going to bleed cash, we're not going to take our 5 multiple anymore, it's Mary Barr at GM, and I salute her for willing to cut her losses.
Today, Motortrend sort of named their new truck of the year, which is the Ram 1500. What is your take on why this vehicle sort of was the kind of the head and shoulders above the rest? And sort of what is your sort of opinion on that with regards to where this thing is made, which is in America?
Well, the Ram 1500 was a clean kill, and it was a little unexpected, to be honest with you. It is an internal combustion engine, so it was this Hemi V8, now it's this inline 6. The engineering is excellent, the design is beautiful. It's a $40,000 car, goes 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, can tow over 10,000 pounds. It just was a real winner, and it really checked all the boxes, and it beat out, as you pointed out, Cybertruck, Rivian, the Sierra, all these different kind of mainstays. And so it just indicates kind of where we are. An internal combustion engine won this for our car of the year, for our SUV of the year, for our truck of the year. None of them were EVs. They were the last 4 years in a row, but it tells you kind of where we are today as far as the marketplace and what people need.
First and foremost, congratulations to Stellantis' Dodge Ram 1500. I imagine that's one hell of a vehicle, but yeah, comparing it to a Cybertruck, let's be real, folks. Maybe, just maybe, it'll give Stellantis' vehicle sales a boon, given all the calamity it's been involved with here at the end of the year. As for me, I'm not buying another vehicle that doesn't have FSD on it. Speaking of which, ya boy, he did a thing. Ordered myself a Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive strictly for the purpose of utilizing FSD. Don't get me wrong, your boy wanted a Cybertruck, but the Model 3 affords me to continue to buy Tesla on red days, whereas the Cybertruck, yeah, most of my money would be tied up in paying that off for the next few years. In fact, I imagine it's the Cybertruck's price that kept it really out of consideration for Motortrend's Truck of the Year. I ordered the Model 3 yesterday, and with any luck, I'll be able to pick it up on Sunday. For those of you counting at home, that's 4 days from order to delivery. And you can bet your bottom dollar that that's not by accident. Tesla is going to have record-breaking deliveries for Q4 of 2024. I've had a rough estimate of 525,000 deliveries since October, and I see no reason to change that right now. I'm going to be part of that historic number. Question is, how about you?
For a look at Tesla and some detail from Goldman Sachs angle. They raised the price target on it. Fresh love, never hurts.
I mean, you can't beat the stock right now. It's 60% since the election. We're breaking 400 yesterday. We're on our 6th straight day of gains here. As you pointed out, we're seeing analysts start to weigh in, perhaps reluctantly. We saw Morgan Stanley raise the price target to 400 from 310 yesterday. They talked about those near-term headwinds in EV sales. They talked about the inflationary wild card coming from those tariff hikes. But they still saw Tesla as one of their top picks in the automobile group. Today, we've got Goldman Sachs raising their price target to 345, up from 250, kept a neutral rating on the shares. The analyst says, given a reduced EV market forecast, the firm is lowering their earnings per share estimates for Tesla, driven by lower deliveries and lower auto gross margins. However, while the firm sees fundamental headwinds to the core auto business over the near and medium term, it also believes the market is taking a more forward-looking approach to Tesla, including respect to their AI opportunity. That, of course, would likely include those cyber cabs, which I think a lot of investors are really hopeful is going to be a big revenue driver for Tesla in the future.
If you do decide to order a Tesla vehicle, make sure that you're using my referral code to get that $2,000 off. The link will be in the pinned comment below. There is no better time to get yourself inside the best thing on 4 wheels, despite what Motor Trend would have you believe. S, 3, X, Y, or Cybertruck, I assure you, you will not be disappointed. In conclusion, GM has pulled funding for its autonomous Robotaxi Cruise. This places them squarely in the position of potential licensing like every other legacy auto manufacturer. Let's rewind the sands of time a bit. Do you guys remember when Ford was the first legacy auto manufacturer to say that they will be using the NACS? The North American charging standard that Tesla provides for all of its superchargers? When that domino fell, it didn't take the rest of legacy auto to realize that they needed to have this charging port on their vehicles. Fast forward to today, Tesla showcased their Cybercab on 1010. This thing didn't have a charge port. That's how fast Tesla innovates and disrupts itself. Even if the legacy auto manufacturers decided that they needed to license FSD to remain competitive, by the time we've seen the first GM, Ford, or whoever utilizing FSD, Tesla's gonna be in a whole different place entirely. But that's not to say that it will not be beneficial for these legacy auto manufacturers. The time to act is now. Same goes for you. If you want to be ahead of the pack, you might as well put yourself in the best thing on four wheels from Jump Street. I'm sure those Ford, GM vehicles, they love charging at Tesla superchargers, but I imagine there's a little bit of Tesla envy. Imagine what that feeling's going to evolve into when you're talking about autonomous vehicles. That's all I've got for you today. Be easy. Peace.